When seen from outer space, our planet shines like a blue and white gem, set against the endless dark. The Earth's familiar colors mostly come from the enormous amounts of water that blanket its surface. But have you ever wondered, what would happen if every drop of water on Earth suddenly vanished?
They told you the story. We tell you the truth. Welcome to Facts Licks.
Water is practically everywhere on our planet. It hides in the rocks, but also fills the cells of living beings. On average, the human body is made up of about 60% water, most of it stored inside the cells. Billions of our cells depend on it to survive. So what would the world look like if there was no water at all? It goes without saying, humanity could never survive in such a place. The same fate would follow animals and plants alike, since H2O is one of the basic ingredients needed for life. But what about the planet itself? With no oceans, rivers, or lakes, Earth's face would change completely. But in what ways exactly? Let's take a look at some possible outcomes. If all the water on our blue-green world disappeared overnight. Without water, the Earth wouldn't stay green for long. Vegetation would dry out and die, turning the planet into a giant brown wasteland. Instead of the green and blue globe we know, clouds would no longer form, rainfall would vanish, and the weather would be driven almost entirely by winds. Ignoring the wind speeds, the world's climate would feel like an endless burning summer. Methane, currently locked away in ocean ice, would be released into the air, trapping more heat from the sun. Temperatures would swing wildly from one extreme to another, and with no plants to absorb carbon dioxide, the atmosphere would only get worse. Surprisingly, volcanic activity would also shrink without water. Volcanoes, supervolcanoes, and their eruptions usually happen when tectonic plates slide under each other, and that is mostly caused by the pressure of the oceans, forcing one plate beneath another. What's more, water plays a key role inside the Earth's crust. At high heat and pressure, it helps form magma, which erupts in fiery explosions. Like the recent eruption of Mount Etna. Take away the oceans and the water, and instead of volcanoes, every plate collision would simply build up giant mountain chains. Of course, such changes would take thousands of years to unfold, but the end result would be a dry, cracked land covered with endless ridges and canyons. Still, that wouldn't be the end of all life. Nature has a way of adapting, even under the harshest conditions. Over millions of years, strange microbes known as extremophiles have evolved to live without water. Instead, they rely on carbon monoxide for energy. They thrive in scorching heat or acidic pits. Some live deep in the Earth's crust. Others rest inside enormous underground crystals. So, while humans, animals, and plants would disappear, life, in some form, would still survive. And if you listen to modern science, our next potential home is Mars, the mysterious red planet with the tallest mountains and deepest valleys in the solar system. Billions of years ago, Mars was warmer, with oceans, and perhaps even life. Looking at today's dusty photos, it's hard to imagine that water ever existed there. Maybe even plants once did. Mars lies about 50% farther from the sun than Earth. It's roughly half the size, and takes 687 Earth days to complete one orbit. Interestingly, a Martian day is just slightly longer than one of ours. Its atmosphere is very different. 95% carbon dioxide, with tiny traces of nitrogen, oxygen, and water vapor. Surface pressure is only 6 millibars, similar to the air 35 kilometers above Earth. Around the equator, daytime temperatures can reach 20 degrees Celsius, but at night, they plunge below -80. And because of its thin atmosphere, radiation and storms pose constant threats. Some storms even rage for months without stopping. In short, without high-tech spacesuits, human survival on Mars is impossible. So how could we fix the problem of vanishing water? Scientists suggest using silver iodide to seed the sky with clouds and trigger artificial rain. Silver iodide is an inorganic chemical. It's toxic, and breathing its fumes can lead to poisoning, headaches, and weakness. It's also extremely harmful to sea life. Yet, it's already being used in attempts to fight climate change. Could this nightmare scenario actually come true? According to the United Nations 2018 report on global water resources, nearly 6 billion people could face severe shortages of clean water by 2050. By then, the world's population may reach 10 billion. And if consumption keeps rising, by 2025, 2/3 of humanity could live in regions struggling with water scarcity. The lesson is simple. We must protect our sources of drinking water, because if we don't preserve them, who will? That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.